Hello, dear students. Today we are going to discuss the essay Selected Snobberies by Aldous Huxley. So, first we need to understand what is snobbery. Who is a snob? So, I asked you the question that who is a snob, and I allowed you to recapitulate, think about it, that who is a snob. And this is the basic definition of snob according to dictionary, that a snob is a person with an exaggerated respect for high social position or wealth who seeks to associate with social superiors and looks down on those regarded as socially inferior. So, this is a kind of pride, you can call it an ego, you can call it standoffishness. So, these are certain synonyms that you can give to snobbery. And there is an example, a sentence. Her mother was a snob and wanted a lawyer as a son in law. So she wanted him to belong to a particular status. So people can be proud about their status, about their appearance. And this kind of pride where a person starts looking at other person as inferior. So it is a kind of superiority complex. And snob is also a person who believes that their tastes in a particular area are superior to those of other people. It's in the second sense of the meaning, that where people think that they are superior to other. Uh, in this form, mostly Huxley sees a snob. So there can be a musical snob who thinks that he is the best in music or he has the better taste for music. So if you want to see examples of snobbery, you can see an example of snobbery in The Hidden Pool. In that particular novel, there is a character called Laurie. Laurie, nobody talks to Laurie because Laurie is shy. So everyone thinks that he is proud. And why he is proud? Because he belongs to a higher social status and he is an Anglo Indian. So the other Indian boys, they don't associate with him. But there comes a situation when they talk and they understand Laurie as a person, and they come to know that he is not actually very standoffish, he is not actually very proud, and he is a normal boy like every other boy. So these kinds of examples we get around us when we are talking about examples of snobbery. Now we come to the essay selected snobberies. So there are certain types of snobberies that Aldous Huxley has listed when he is talking about selected snobberies. One of such snobberies is disease snobbery. Now you all have an idea that who is a snob. A snob is a person who has an idea or attitude of being better than the rest. He thinks, he considers himself better than the rest in any respect. So how can a person be a disease snob? Because disease is not actually a good thing. So if somebody is a is having a disease that is not very much liked, like a disease like leprosy, then naturally the person will not be a leprosy snob. But if the person is suffering from a disease that he can romanticize, certain diseases are romanticized. So if a person had consumption or tuberculosis and like Keats, so they can romanticize their fading away in youth, and they could give it a very they are the suffering associated with it can be romanticized. Certain patients of cancer or with certain heart diseases have also done that they have used it to show that their disease is fashionable, and somehow they talk about their disease a lot because they feel that it gives them a sense of superiority. So this is one of the most dangerous kinds of snobbery that can be listed. Another very dangerous kind of snobbery is booze snobbery. Booze is drinking snobs. So these people, they think because they think that because they are moving in certain circles, and they give a higher status to drinking. So now in India also we can see that there are people who drink and who smoke just to show off that they belong to a elite class or a higher status. And this is a pitfall, because this kind of snobbery isn't acceptable. So there are so many kinds of snobbery, and each snobbery is kind of standing against another. And there is another kind of snobbery, that is modernity snobbery. And modernity snobbery is also not very good for us, because what happens during modernity snobbery is that we are made into consumers, and we consume more and more and more, and our consumption and production of machines and technology keeps on increasing. So what happens, you have an old phone and then a new phone is launched, new technology is launched, and you change your old phone, not because it is not working, but because you feel it is outdated. The same happens with vehicles, with cars. So even if the other thing is in use, it can be used, you try to change it. So it creates a market. Modernity snobbery creates a market. So it is a market influenced or market instigated snobbery, so that you buy more and more, and you keep building new buildings, and you keep and the development, the idea of development that we have, that new skyscrapers should be built, and only then we will be ahead of our times. So that is something that is very precarious, and that is what is called as modernity snobbery. Then we come to art snobbery. Art snobbery are people who think, art snobs are people who think that they know much more about art than other people. Among art snobs, there are two categories that Huxley talks about. One is platonic art snob, and the other is unplatonic art snob. So platonic art snobbery is a branch of culture snobbery. So actually he has used another term also, that is culture snobbery. So art snobbery and culture snobbery are interrelated. They are slightly variations of each other. Art snobbery, society snobbery, and culture snobbery, they are similar, but then there are because there is a lot of social prestige attached to art and literature. So people who know art, who know literature, they think that they know more than others, and they look down upon others. So that is art snobbery. But in that, the platonic art snobs are those who are actually cultured, who take an interest in everything, and they, who know about everything. But the unplatonic art snob is again a catch. These people are rich, they are hybrids, and for them, he uses a very Huxley uses a very satirizing tone and a very scathing attack. He attacks the unplatonic snob, and he calls them a hybrid or a mule. A mule is a hybrid between a horse and a donkey. So, what he is referring to, so these people are basically rich, and it is a subspecies of culture snobbery, and it is also a subspecies of possession snobbery, because these people want to possess art. So they don't know about art, but these people are the ones who will buy art. They have a lot of money, so they will spend on art and literature just to show off that they have a lot of money. So for them, they don't understand art, they have no keen interest in art, but they will only pretend because that they have interest in art because they have money. So unplatonic art snobbery is something that is entirely unacceptable. Then we come to that each kind of snobbery requires devotees. Like if there is a disease, no, there should be people who should follow him. Oh my God, look at that person, how ill he is. So he wants, a disease snob wants sympathy. A booze snob shows recklessness, and he needs sympathizers who follow him. So like there are so many youth. Yeah, in among youth, it is very popular. Booze snobs become very popular. Modernity snobs are very much required by the market economy. Art snobs are required both by artists and followers of art. So there are a number of followers of such snobberies. So they have to keep themselves up to date. Snobs have to behave like snobs every time. So he talks about so many kinds of snobbery. And then he is also saying that you have to understand the difference between knowing something, understanding something, and becoming a snob, because snob is basically a derogatory term. And Huxley says that we have to stop ourselves. We don't have to become a snob. So that's all for now. I'll come with another lecture on selected snobberies. Thank you.